All right, hey guys, first off, I just want to recap phenomenal job on Unit 7. I'm so proud of all of your grades. I really am like dying. I'm so happy. But all of 8 and Unit 9 essentially are almost all about the exact same thing, which we learned as constant rate of change, or CROCs. Thank you, Taylor Owen. Constant rate of change. Well, now what we're calling constant rate of change is slope. All we've done is change the name. So constant rate of change is now slope. Well, we can represent slope as many different things. M equals slope. M equals slope. The equation for slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Or, because we talked about in class, the commutative property of subtraction or addition, pardon me, is that you can go the other way. You can do y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. Now immediately before we even continue, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you do it the other way, it's pick your way and stick to it, because if you mix this and this, or this and this, if it's not both 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, it's going to be wrong. Your sign's going to get mixed up. So these are our equations, and what that means is delta, or change in y, over change in x, and what that means is rise over run. So literally this entire board all means the exact same thing. Okay, so what we learned on, that's my laptop. What we learned on Monday was if we're given 2 points, so let's say 3, 2, and 4, 5. If we're given 2 points, it doesn't matter which one you pick. So I like to call this my first coordinate. I like to go left to right. So this is my x sub 1, y sub 1, because isn't every coordinate x comma y? So x sub 1 comma y sub 1, x sub 2 comma y sub 2. Now I'm going to write my equation because I like to have my info with me. And then I'm simply going to plug in my variables. So as Mr. Veeder told us, draw our maps. So my first one is 5 minus 2, and my next one is 4 minus 3. Well, 5 minus 2 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I rise 3 and I run 1, and that's my slope for that. Now, just to prove it to you, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So I'm going to do it the other way now. I'm going to go 2 minus 5 or 3 minus 4. Well, 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative over negative equals a positive 3. So a quick tip here, if you have two negatives, negative divided by negative is a positive. Say this fraction is negative 4, negative 6. Well, that simplifies to positive 2/3. So you should have that note somewhere that if both are negative, it's a positive, okay? So that's going either way, 2 to 1 or 1 to 2. Now, I promise you the thing, sorry this is so shaky, guys, it's just the way it is today. Now, I promise you, the thing you're most likely going to mess up is subtracting negatives. So if it says negative 1 comma 2 from negative 3 comma negative 5, this now means negative 5 minus 2, right? And then negative 3 minus a negative 1. Well, as soon as I see these next to each other, I'm just going to go like this. And now I know that's negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. And negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7. Well, I have a negative over a negative, so that means this is positive 7/2. Do not write 3 1/2. That doesn't make any sense. Don't do that, okay? This is your final answer. It would be m equals 7/2 would be your final answer. So let's get some quick tips, because we talked about positive and negative, so those were both positive slopes. If there's a negative, say you calculate and you get m equals 4 over negative 3. Sorry, 4 equals negative 3. Well, Mr. Veeder told us that negative can't be in the denominator because of math rules. So we're just going to simply, my answer would be negative 4/3. Just move it out or to the top. So make a note of that. So that's negative. And if the entire, so this would be a negative. We just looked at a positive. So real quick, let's see what 0 and undefined look like. If 0 is in the denominator, that is a hard no, meaning it is undefined. If 0 is in the denominator, is undefined. And you'll know if it's 0 because your x's will be the same. Isn't that going to be 3 minus 3? So I know that this, if my x's are the same, it is undefined. Now the opposite to that, if the 0 is on the top and the number's on the bottom, well, that's okay. That's okay. So if my 0 is on the top, it is a 0 slope. And my slope m equals 0. Or excuse me, m equals 0. Write it that way. Don't write 0 equals m. M equals 0. That would be my final answer. And I know that by, again, if my y's, excuse me, if my x's are the same up here, my y's are the same down here. So it would be 5, 3, and then like let's 7, 3. So since my y's are the same, I know that it's 0. If you need more practice on this, please go to the Edmodo page from Tuesday. It has the, the practice homework that was the color. I didn't put the colors on there. It's got the musical math practice, and your Monday night half sheet was this. Okay?